Hi everyone and welcome to VO's Webinar Week. This week we'll be taking you through a wide range of webinars for you to help you fully understand how VO works and get the most out of our camera and our platform. We're starting today with webinar number 1, where I'll be joined by Ben Maitland, Head of Performance Analysis at Rangers' famous academy here. Ben, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. Ben, just before we start, can you give us a little bit of background on yourself, your journey into Rangers, and more specifically your journey into the analysis side of things?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, everyone. I appreciate the invite to come on and share some great ideas, hopefully, with you. So my journey to analysis is probably not the most typical route. I went to university to study computer science. I then fell in love with football coaching, and I thought I could hybrid the two of them. So then I had the opportunity to work at Birmingham City Women as a volunteer and a placement student, where we saw great success, achieving third in the league and really challenging with the top teams in the WSL at the time. Off the back of that, the manager, Mark Skinner, was given the opportunity to go and work as head coach at Orlando Pride. And I was privileged and in the position to go with him and lead the analysis proportion of Orlando Pride. I spent 3 years out in America, where I actually first came across VO and their platform and what they do and what their purpose is. And then I had the opportunity to come home and work for Rangers Football Club, where I currently lead the academy analysis and the women's analysis department, alongside sort of focusing on the process of everything, why we do it, how we do it, and all different things like that. So hopefully I can provide some insight for you guys today.
Yeah, that's perfect, Ben. And you know, one interesting point I see from you there is even starting at a club at like Birmingham City, and you started off as a volunteer at a big club. What was the transition like for you, and what was the difference between being a volunteer and then going over to Orlando and maybe doing it full time? And what was the differences in those types of roles?
I think you always had that element of pressure. There was always pressure at Birmingham. However, you could always fall back on the line that you were the volunteer and you were doing this for free. Not that I ever liked to do that. Whereas you went to Orlando, I was leading a department. I was one of the technical staff. Like, we had to get 3 points. We had to get the team into the playoffs. So that added element of pressure, and also balancing your time. When I was a volunteer, I was also studying my undergraduate. So my time was naturally balanced for me because I had university study and working at Birmingham.
No, that's
Whereas
perfect.
at Orlando, it was all in on analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you maintain that lifestyle to the best, to give you the best out of doing the analysis at Birmingham, and also studying a degree and all that kind of stuff? How did you best manage your time and make sure you get the best out of both worlds?
I just worked really hard. I know that's like a typical thing to say. And my mates at uni, I didn't really have a university life as typical people would see it.
Yeah.
But I just worked really hard. My best friend Cameron would say, like, he's mental. But yeah, that's how I basically did it.
No, that's amazing. That's awesome. Back in those days at Birmingham, when you were volunteering and doing your uni degree, how was the club actually filming games?
So we just had a camera and a tripod set up. So that's all we had. We didn't really film training. We experimented with a drone at times, but we actually trained very close to Birmingham Airport. So there was only certain times we could use that. But yeah, mainly just a camera and a tripod with no real height, especially when training. Stadiums are a bit different, but yeah.
Would you say back in the day, in those days when you're a volunteer, would you say a product like VO would have been a massive advantage to you guys?
100%, because also being a volunteer, I wasn't there every day, whereas the coaches still wanted everything filmed every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So having a video that they were able to set up in 5 minutes would have been a massive aid to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose it also would have given you that time, instead of maybe someone filming, that person could have been put to better resource in actually doing the analysis, and that in the time that they're using to record the game. So no, that's brilliant. Thanks for that fantastic insight, and such a wonderful journey to hear that you've come all the way from being a volunteer to leading an analysis department at a huge club like Rangers. It is inspiring, not only for me, but I'm sure a lot of our viewers, and hopefully dreaming of one day maybe taking the same journey. So that's fantastic. Thanks very much for sharing that, Ben. We'll move into like a little bit about how you guys work with VO at Rangers. So just give us a basic understanding, like, for example, how many teams in, let's say, the women's department there, or the women's academy are using VO to record and analyse their games?
So yeah, our girls' academy is a real up and coming part of our provision at Rangers, and with the women's game naturally only growing strength to strength, it will only get bigger. And VO is part of the forefront of our plans. So currently, the girls' academy, we have a 14s, 16s, and an 18s team, and they all utilize the VO filming technology. Then on the boys' side, we also use it as sort of in a way as our hybrid solution. The privilege of Rangers, we have great facilities at Rangers Training Centre. However, when we sometimes travel away, we're left with difficult challenges, which the VO's flexibility allows us to be agile and adjust to those situations really quickly. So the girls' academy use it as their primary analysis function, whereas the boys' academy use it as that almost utilitarian tool in many respects to help us capture and provide the best analysis to our players and staff.
Okay, that's perfect. And just to touch on the girls' academy, for example, the 14s, 16s, and 18s, how does it work logistically for those games? Do you schedule them one after the other so you can use the system all the way through and capture those games, or is there one pitch on the same time as the other pitch, or how does it work logistically for you guys?
So the agreement we have is we provide as much analysis as we can for the home games. So we'll usually try and go one after each other where possible, or separate days. We are, with the new relationship we have with VO, going to gain an extra camera as well. So that will allow us more freedom and flexibility to have multiple games going at the same time. But we usually just work the flexibility as best we can to try and go one after the other.
Okay, that's perfect. So just in terms of your staff, I'm sure you have a lot of staff and a lot of people around the VO. How do you find what works best for setup, like the actual recording function? I've always found that if it's always one person that's setting up the VO, then that person knows it and they can set it up every week and they know what they're doing. But for you guys with loads of staff, maybe different coaches, different analysts, how do you best keep it in kind of structure and that everyone knows, right, this is how we operate the VO and everyone knows what they're doing in terms of setting up and recording?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is, like you alluded to there, was it's not always going to be the same person setting up the VO. We have a vast staff of Rangers, of coaches, analysts, and there'll be different situations that require different people to use it. So one of my colleagues actually created a VO how-to guide, which I'm happy to share with the viewers after this, which actually lives in the box with our VO kit. And we tested it on a few coaches and a few analysts so we can really create that consistency. And then it's just a bit of understanding to the coaching staff of where the optimum position is to put a VO, just back off the halfway line as close to the center as possible, and different things like that. So it really varies. But using the information on the VO website, we then took that into our own sort of Rangers branded how-to guide to then make it foolproof in theory for coaches and analysis, sometimes even physios to set up the camera. So we're guaranteed that recording.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic idea. And how long did that take to make? You said one of your colleagues did it.
Yeah, so Adam, one of our academy analysis, did it. It took him, I think, a couple of days to get it right using the information off the VO website. But now it just lives in the box of our VO, and if we ever get more cameras, they'll be more printed off and put in there. So, but again, it's using the information that VO provide on VO.com. Just people will know what coaches are like, is they'll just want it all in one place nice and quickly, so it doesn't affect their warm-up or anything else like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it would be great to share that how-to guide after the webinar, and it's a fantastic idea. Like you say, just put it in a box. Everyone that's got it, it's all there for them. Perfect place to set it up. Tips on how to connect and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that's all on there. But no, that's fantastic. And Ben, just go into a little bit of, okay, you've got the girls teams and the boys academy teams. Can you provide us of something simple analysis wise that you would show one of your players, maybe at training or after a game? Are you able to kind of screen share and log into your platform and provide a little insight to us in how you would provide a 10-second analysis clip to an individual?
Yeah, no worries. So I'm logged into the VO platform here. As you can see, all our recordings are sort of all in one place. And if I focus on this Kilmarnock game here, which I'm just going to boot up. Yeah, so I'm basically going to highlight using the AI coding that's been done in this game. So this is a real quick and easy way for us to get a synopsis of the game and different things like that. So I'm just going to scroll down here. and look at all the key actions that VO is tagging. And I'm going to focus on this goal here on the 76th minute. So as you can see, I'm just going to play the clip through first, and then I'm going to show as if I was talking to the player in question.
Okay. And for anyone that's watching this, it may be a little bit sticky as we are on a Zoom call, but here we go.
So the player we're going to focus on here is the number 9, Laura Berry, who's actually now playing in our women's first team. So she's part of the first team squad this season. So as you can see, we're focusing on her movement across the back line here and how she's playing on the last defender. And it's a good pass through. Again, she didn't score the goal, but again, we're focusing on that movement. So if I take this back 10 seconds using the quick and easy features here.
So how are you going to highlight Lauren in this clip?
So I'm going to use the drawing tools here. So it's going to load this up so it goes into drawing mode and paint the picture as if I'm sat with Laura or I've sent her this clip. I'm just going to use the spotlight on her here to really clearly identify her movement, because we know the pass is going to come in here and Laura's movement needs to then coincide off that with a run here. So this is as if I'm sat in an analysis meeting with the player, with maybe the coach as well. So these are the different elements that we use VO for. Again, created by the AI tagging. So then we can, when we're tagging the game, we maybe look at more bespoke stuff relative to ranges and the game model and philosophy of how we want to play.
No, that's fantastic, Ben. That's really interesting. Can you just, if we go back a step, if you just click the X and remove the drawings, we can just show everyone an example how to get the AI highlights up on your screen. Can you go through that again? Just how did you get the list of highlights that were created by the AI?
So I just click the menu here, which highlights highlights.
Yep.
And then you can see it really defines what the moments are.
Yep.
At the thing. And then I will just go through as the analyst here in this picture and save the key ones I want to look at. So I saved this goal that Laura's involved in here as a really good example to show you guys today.
Okay. No,
and then that allows us with our tagging to do bespoke things.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's perfect, Ben. And just delve a little bit deeper into the feedback. You said you may do this with a player sat next to you. Just go through different ways you would use the VO or the platform to feed back to the different players you have. So if you've got, let's say you've done this for 10 players, is it the same? Will everyone sit next to you, or is there different methods that you can feed back to them? How do you get the messages out?
Every player is different, right? And everyone learns differently. That's human nature. So some players may want to go through it in person. Some players may want to go away and watch their clips themselves. So then we'd share it using the VO platform as well. That's and perfect. Different things like that.
That's perfect.
And then take it out maybe into emails or download links and different things like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these clips that are created by the AI they have little dots on them. Maybe you can hover over the 3 dots next to the goal. And there's the download button as well. So if you need to share the individual clips with the players, you can download that file, as I'm sure Ben's doing, and send it in an email or whatever communication tools you're using. But look, Ben, appreciate that. That was fantastic, and it's great to see that a club with the highest level academy is just doing the simple things. We're highlighting goals. We're showing players where they should run and what spaces they're opening up. It's nothing too complicated. So it's really, really easy to link into all levels of the game. So it's fantastic to see that you're doing that. We're going to move into a little bit of maybe the nitty gritty stuff for you guys at Rangers, and we'll move into like how VO has helped to strengthen the gap in the player development. So how's VO helped you guys in that individual player development to improve that within the club?
I think fundamentally from a bottom line is giving us more access to footage. And sometimes people talk about the really intricate details, which are really important. But just for the Girls Academy, this is a provision that's fairly new at Rangers. VO just giving us a license to, like you've seen in that Laura Berry moment there, just to clip things. and clip games and have things recorded and available to us, then you can start to add the layers and layers of detail that VO then provides you through the AI tagging. So like it might be clipping individuals, it might be clipping team moments to develop individuals. However, I'd say the biggest thing is just being able to have the footage filmed and available to the coaches and the players. Because it's not necessarily always the analyst who wants to engage in the player development. It might be the coach, it might be the strength and conditioning coach around like running analysis, gait analysis, or it might be the physio who wants to check on a player's return to play. So all those different things are massive factors for us. So the biggest thing that VO is able to enhance our provision is by getting the games filmed and captured in a clean and professional manner, not just someone stood at eye level on the sideline.
Yeah,
which is massive for us.
Absolutely. And just in your opinion, Bennett, how important is it for that footage to be accessible and of good quality and readily available for the players? Like, what's the difference between maybe Laura seeing that clip and her not seeing that clip?
Yeah, it's massive. If players, there's a full element of truth in the clips. The clip is what it is. So the player may have an opinion, the coach may have an opinion, the analyst may have an opinion. However, the clip tells the true story. And the fact that the clip there is good quality, it's from a high vantage point, so you're able to see other areas of the field, and it's caught up with play thanks to the auto tagging and the auto tracking. So I think those factors come into it are massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fully agree. Now you've given us some examples of how you would use VO in a match environment. These are 14s, 16s, 18s, girls, boys academy taking the camera away. Have you guys delved into the realm of recording training sessions and everything like that at the moment?
Not as much as probably the game side of it, because our provision is tailored towards the games until they get to more of a senior level, and then we use it for training. But we have used it at times. There is one pitch at the Rangers training centre that doesn't have a high vantage point, and every time there's training on there, we look to utilise the VIA because it really adds that element of height, like I've already spoken about. And the types of practices that will aid is more the bigger picture 11v11 because the camera can keep track of it as well.
Yeah.
But also not forgetting the goalkeepers in the corner when you can just drag the footage around as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're doing a little separate session in there.
Absolutely, and Ben's talking about what we call our interactive mode. Then, Ben, if you wouldn't mind, just giving us you can go back to the same clip of Laura there, if you need, and just show everyone what you're talking about there with the interactive mode and dragging the camera.
So I click on the interactive player.
Okay, it looks like it's just been archived for the moment. But what we'll do is we can come back to that. We can pop that in the recording, the webinar link afterwards. How to use the interactive mode, and I can describe it for you here. Basically, what Ben would have done is if he wants to see maybe the opposition goalkeeper's position in that clip there, he can click and drag the camera left and right, and he can also use his mouse to. The ball roller on his mouse to zoom in and zoom out to see the pitch a little bit closer or a little bit further away, and it would have been able to see more players or more of the pitch there. So perfect for recording training, like Ben said, using it to record the 11v11 stuff on his pitch that doesn't have the cameras. We're glad VO can help you in that certain pitch there. Yeah, so it's so all good. But look, one of the main purposes of this week is like a lot of our customers come from a level that does not have the resources as say yourselves at Rangers or professional clubs or even the semi-professional clubs. Maybe it's just a coach, a manager, and his assistant doing this. So we want to tie what you guys are doing at Rangers and many other professional clubs to how it can link in with our grassroots clients and customers there with limited resources. So what's the one tip that you would give, Ben, for someone with limited resources, or someone, let's say an under 14s or an under 16s girls side where it's a good level and they have one coach and one assistant, and that's it. And the assistant is maybe a parent whose main job is to administer the side of things, and they've got a VO camera, as many people do. What is your tip for someone like that? Where do they start?
I think first of all, start with just utilizing the video for its main purpose is capturing the games. So just being able to create a bank of footage of the games. So capturing 5 or 6 games, getting yourself really adequate at setting up the camera. And so it's really efficient part of your like match day routine. Then I would look to utilize some of the AI tagging features. So then I'd look to maybe put highlights reel together of the team's goals and share it on the parents' communication tool. And just really start to drip feed it in. I wouldn't go like all in too fast, otherwise you probably get a bit confused. I would mainly look at filming the games and then starting to pick out key moments and different things like that to also create a fun element to what you're doing as well.
Absolutely, that's fantastic advice. And for everyone out there watching, what Ben is talking about, where the AI function is that when you've recorded a game and it's uploaded, the software will tag up all the set pieces. So that's goal kicks, free kicks, corners, and also the shots on goals. So the chances at both ends, and also obviously, as we've seen from Ben showing us the goals. So the AI will do that automatically, and that's in most of our packages that you can buy. So what Ben's talking about there is the absolute simplest way is to let VO do everything for you and drip feed that information into your players and coaches. But that's a fantastic area to start, definitely. What are some considerations to think about for a semi-professional grassroots customers when they're maybe first setting up a VO? How are you guys able to become more efficient in the setting up and recording of this?
I think the key is, first of all, make sure everything's charged. It's the old additive, right? But make sure everything's charged and ready to go. And to start with, you always give yourself more time than you probably need, just to make sure you've got everything connected. The benefit of VO, you can start and stop everything on the phone, and you don't have to be next to the camera. You don't have to be near the camera. So I think the first things first is make sure everything is fully charged and regularly ready to use. And then once you've set up the camera and you've taken it down, make sure you stop the recording, because that will speed up your processing time after the game. And then as soon as you can, make sure that camera's plugged in or wirelessly connected to an internet to then upload your footage. Because the quicker you can get the footage onto the VO platform, the quicker they can start to use their AI system to create the tags for you. So I think my biggest top tip on that one is give yourself more time than needed and making sure you get the camera on the internet as quickly as possible once the game's finished, so you can all enjoy the footage.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. And as a user myself, and I'm fairly biased, but I think the first thing that I do is try to upload, even run into the dressing room before the players are getting there and put that camera on upload, because by the time the players have showered and got ready and done their bits and pieces, have gone home, half the process is already done. So that's fantastic advice there. Ben, what do you prepare anything yourself before the game is going to be recorded? So, for example, to help yourselves as analysts or coaches, do you have certain things you might want to be like, we're going to record this game and we've been working on some things this week in training? Do you have things you're going to look out for? Does that help you guys in the post-match?
Yeah, so we'll have, each coach works differently, right, depending on their age group. But for example, our women's first team will work with weekly objectives. Some of our academy teams will have blocks, so that for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, the focus might be the high press. So then you'd look at all the opposition's goal kicks as an example, which VO automatically tags for you. So there's always key themes that underpin a Rangers academy game or a first team game and different things like that, which VO allows us to access quickly in the post-match side of the game.
No, that's perfect. And you've mentioned just something there that you can go in straight away. If you're working on the high press and you know that VO is going to tag up all those goal kicks for you automatically, it's something that you can go into straight away to look at something like that. But what about for something else? So how do you define what's important for you guys? And it might be different to a grassroots customer. We all know football there's no right or wrong. So what kind of advice would you give to someone in the elite or grassroots games to start off with, for example, to go with VO? Okay, we're going to look at a high press, but if it's under 11 girls or boys that are maybe playing at a grassroots level, where would they start to look at?
Yeah, so I think the key is not to overcomplicate things early doors. Taking an understanding of the age of the players as well is a massive element. So at younger age, players might just want to watch the goals back. If someone scored an amazing goal or amazing free kick, they'll just want to watch that back, send it around all their friends, their family, and different things like that. And then as you get older, you might start to look at more football themes. So whether that's high press, whether that's building from the goalkeeper, whether that's what we're like in possession, what we're like out of possession. So the biggest thing I could say is know the age and the audience of the players and understanding what they want to gain out of analysis as well.
Yeah, that's a really important point there, and as we link into that and what they want to gain out of the analysis for a club like yourself, I'm sure the principles might be similar to all levels of football. So, what are some of the things you guys want to gain out of the analysis at Rangers?
So the biggest thing is testing ourselves against our game model. So the Rangers game model is unique. Each club will have a unique game model, a style of play. Some teams may call it a philosophy. So with the tagging and elements of tagging that we do ourselves is measuring ourselves against the game model. So what makes a Rangers performance? Then that isn't just impacted and driven by the result.
Okay, absolutely. And for someone at the lower level or grassroots level, let's say, for example, they don't have a game model. They just play every week. They train once a week. How can they link that into them, or how can they develop a basic game model to work off and link it into the analysis that VO will provide for them?
So the biggest thing I'd say is look for themes and look for common patterns. So you may concede a lot of goals off long balls. So then you may look at the goal kicks in a different element. Are we making first contact? Are we making second contact? That may then drive your training session once a week.
Yep.
So the first part of your training session might be on defending the long ball.
Yep.
So then you can instantly start to link the video to the training to the match.
Yep. Okay.
And you go across those three things with VO sort of underpinning all of that.
Yep. Yep. No, that's fantastic. That's it, and that's a great example there that you don't have to overcomplicate things, and you don't have to have a complicated game model to link it through and do analysis. It can be as simple as that. Okay, how are we conceding goals? And remember, the goals are tagged up, and even the chances at both ends are tagged up for you. So it could be how we're conceding. We can look at all the opposition's shots on goals, and if they've all come after a long ball, then that can be something that they want to address at training for that coming week. But that's fantastic advice, and obviously how to link it to VO and the platform is also fantastic as well. Just to finish off with the last couple of minutes here, Ben, any advice for parents, just overall general advice, parents and coaches at all levels, using VO, using the platform, and that whole process, providing feedback to players? It can be anything that you've experienced within VO, but something, your best piece of advice for anyone out there that's potentially looking into us.
I think the biggest thing is to start small and build up. You don't want to overload the players with analysis when they've never used it before. So really focus on sub goals to get your end goal. So I think whether it's starting with the goals, whether it's starting with different things, like I'll give you an extreme example. You lose 14-0 and it's your first game with the VO. I wouldn't suggest going and showing all 14 goals that you've conceded to your goalkeeper. And different things like that. So really start small and focus on little wins to gain that bigger goal, and also enjoy it.
Yeah.
Children these days play a lot of football-based video games, and they control their favorite players. Well, this is an opportunity for them to get a little bit of the same experience.
Absolutely. That's So just to wrap up what Ben said there, start small and then take it from there, which I think is a fantastic way to start. And also to wrap up this first webinar of our webinar week, I want to take this opportunity to thank Ben himself. Is a busy man. I can see he's in a hotel room and got lots of stuff on his plate, I'm sure. But it's been an absolute privilege to have you here, not just for yourself and what you do, but really explaining in detail how you guys work at Rangers, and an eye opener for myself as well, just to see the simplicity that it is that you go into. It's not complicated. It's very simple. It's stuff that can be linked to everyday football at all levels. So thank you, Ben, for joining us today. Thank you for everyone out there that is watching. If you have any questions, you can get in touch with us, vo.co. If you're looking into VO, there's a big book a sales call. You'll probably speak to someone like me at the end of it. If you need any help with your cameras, there's support.vo.co, where you can contact us by email, phone, or ticket system. But that's a wrap for us, Webinar 1, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you again, Ben.
Thank you, and I hope everyone enjoys the week. There's a varied range of speakers. I may tune into a couple myself as well.
Amazing. Thank you.